Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's Gulam F. Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. We have ourselves a huge show tonight. We start out with Smackdown Live from New Orleans, Louisiana, and the Smoothie King Arena. Then we also got AEW Rampage that was held from Toronto, from the in Toronto. And then, of course, I will have the preview of TripleMania 30, the 30th TripleMania that goes down tomorrow night from Mexico City, live on Fight TV. And we'll preview it all here tonight. So, starting out with SmackDown Live, the first fight of the evening was Kofi Kingston versus Sami Zayn. When it was all said and done, Sami Zayn wins the match in 15 minutes. Well, color me surprised. What a way to jump this baby off. What a match. Excellent match. Great battle. Good storytelling. And for the moment, Jey Uso and Sami Zayn on the same page. That's good because that definitely helps out in the long run. But it also gives us that wrinkle that maybe we're looking at maybe a New Day versus Usos type of situation. Maybe that could be the moment. And the thing is, elongated reign, elongated run. Could it be the greatest? The two greatest tag teams go at it one more time, but is it possible that the New Day could be the ones to end the reign of the Usos? How big would that be? How monumental would that be in the history of professional wrestling? These two teams have been going at it for years. And in WWE circles, you could even say right now, they are the greatest tag team out there right now. These are the two greatest teams out there in the world. The Usos is having one of their best runs ever. They've been champions for over a year. Is it possible that the New Day, who's been, oh my God, like, we're talking record-breaking moment. We're talking, what, like 11-time tag team champions? Probably more. 11 times, I believe they've been tag champions. I think it could be more. But what if it's them? What if it's the New Day that ends the reign of the Usos? I mean, greatest reign ever that the Usos is having. But if the New Day's the one to end the reign, I mean, you're talking from one of the greatest to another one that you can consider the greatest. It is basically the legacy of the WWE tag team division is cemented. If the New Day wins these titles, I'm gonna call it. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack and a lot of heat for this, but I don't care. As far as it pertains to the New Day, you could call them one of the greatest trios of all time, but the one thing that I'll also openly will admit and say as well, they should be in the conversation of being considered as one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling history. Right there with the Fabulous Freebirds, right there with the Midnight Rockers, right there with the Rock and Roll Express, right there with LOD or the Road Warriors, right there with Harlem Heat, Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, the Hardys. You should put their names in that Mount Rushmore of the greatest tag team in wrestling history. Nothing more to say. 3.5 stars for the match. But I'm thinking long term, Anthony Florio. We were talking about a team that could be the one to end the reign of the Usos. I think this team, the New Day, could be the ones. They already have the pedigree and the legacy that could make them viable and legit threats to be the ones to knock them off. We gotta wait and see.
Yeah, we do have to wait and see. But let's get to the business at hand here. This was a damn good match between two grizzled pros who know what it takes to deliver when given the time this one was. Sami Zayn's attempts to further prove himself part of the bloodline were humorous and effective, but it was Jey Uso helping him to win the match that was the biggest takeaway. Eager to please the tribal chief, but infuriated over being placed under Zayn's control, he put personal vendettas aside and did what was right for the bloodline. There will come a time when he does not, and what that means for him. Zayn and their place in Reigns' empire remains one of the most engaging stories in all of wrestling today. Sami Zayn took a phone call from Roman Reigns prior to the match, shielding Jey Uso from the call and refusing to fill him in on whatever the tribal chief had to say. And then the honorary Uso delivered the running hip attack out of the Usos, really hammering home his place in the bloodline. The match overall was a 4-star match, but I'm bumping it down to between 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star because of the Jey Uso interference. But man, it was a great, great match. Great way to start off what ended up being a very newsworthy edition of Friday Night Smackdown from New Orleans tonight. And as far as MF is concerned, I mean, absolutely with New Day. I mean, but at the same time, if anybody was gonna dethrone the Usos, I would prefer it be somebody who could, like a fresh team that could really benefit from the rub of that, because that's a massive rub. Just like the same thing when with Roman, I want to see somebody fresh beat Roman, and have that big and get the rub off of that, because whoever beats Roman, that individual, that man is going to get the biggest rub of his life. And I want the same thing for a fresh young team to knock off the Usos. But if they decide to go with the New Day, I mean, they already have a legacy. I mean, 11-time champions. They hold the record for the longest tag team title reign in history, 483 days, from SummerSlam 2015 all the way until the Roadblock End of the Line event, that Raw exclusive pay-per-view, December of 2016, when they lost to Sheamus and Cesaro. And, well, I think they're going to have I got a feeling they're going to have the Usos break the record. They're going to have the Usos as the new record holders. And anybody's guess. But if New Day were to win it, I would not at all be surprised, because, I mean, they've made a lot of history, and they would get a hell of a rub because they haven't been doing much of anything as of late. They've been underutilized. Hard to say, hard to believe, but it's true. And it would be their biggest moment since Big E won the WWE Championship last year. And it would also rank up there when Kofi did it. But as far as greatest tag teams of all time, MF, you listed so many great ones, but there were a couple of noticeable omissions from your end, with all due respect. And that was, you forgot the Hart Foundation. You also forgot about Demolition, and some countless others. But those were the two most noticeable omissions if we're talking WWE style. You can't ever leave out the Harts or Demolition.
No, and granted, but I was just trying to, let's just say I wasn't deliberately trying to omit them. It was just I was trying to make a point.
Yeah,
but, I mean, you're right. I'm not going to disagree with you, and you can definitely add them to that list. But I was just trying to put it in a context and a level, not to disrespect every tag team that's worthy of it. But I'm just,
understandable and fair enough. So, but they definitely should be included in that list. I mean, you got all the right ones in there. No question about it. All those teams you mentioned, all-time greats, and should definitely be in the conversation for greatest of all time. Would certainly make for an interesting debate in the future. But But for right now, we'll see what happens. But will MF's long-term booking pay off? You don't know. See, we don't know. But at the time, or I should say, when it comes to this, one of the fights of the night for sure. You could certainly make an argument for fight of the night if you wanted to. I wouldn't be mad at it. It's overall 4, but I'm bumping it down to 3.5 to 3 3/4 because of the J interference. So, but it was still a great to start off what ended up being a very newsworthy edition of Friday Night Smackdown tonight. So, not much more to say. Phenom Michael Bullock, come on in, fresh off another one of our legendary Smackdown chats, and boy, howdy, what a match to jumpstart it off here tonight with Sammy and Kofi going at it for a good 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely a really good matchup to start off this edition of SmackDown. I mean, a match like this going 15 minutes, I mean, man, like you said, overall it's 4, but I'm bumping it down to 3.5 as well because of the Jey Uso interference, but it was still a damn good match. So, yeah, and as far as the theory goes, you know what? I actually am with Fletch. I think the New Day could be the ones to dethrone the Usos and end their long reign as champions. I mean, we've seen before that the New Day have had the Usos numbered. So I could definitely see it happening. I definitely think it's going to happen. So we'll wait and see how it all plays out. But for right now, I mean, Sami Zayn does get the edge on Kofi Kingston. So, yeah, definitely this match was definitely a great way to kick off what, like you said, Flora, it ended up being a newsworthy edition of SmackDown. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, so next up we had was a backstage moment. Triple H. Well, okay. I guess I need to preface this because this was at the very beginning of the show and we should have gotten into this. However, but okay. So Karrion Kross was making his way into the building and an accident happened. Karrion Kross got injured and it looks like maybe Drew McIntyre maybe had something to do with it. But we don't know for sure. There was a car accident scene outside the venue. Karrion Kross was injured, and Scarlett was very nervous on him. McIntyre showed up, jumped Kross, beating him down even more, and he was supposed to be a part of a fatal 4-way number 1 contenders match for the Intercontinental title. Unfortunately, Kross is now out of the match. So we got Ricochet, Sheamus, Solo Sikoa. We'll find out the 4th person later on tonight. But during that whole thing, Triple H was talking to some police officers, talking to some of security, wondering what that, trying to piece together what had happened, why did this happen, who was responsible for it. But Rey Mysterio showed up. Rey Mysterio from Monday Night Raw. What the heck? What are you doing here on SmackDown Live, Rey? So Rey's like, look, I don't want to fight my son. Everything that's been going on, my life's been turned upside down, inside out, every which way. I love the WWE. I love the company too much. I can't do this anymore. I quit. Hunter almost freaked out. He's like, whoa. No. Okay, look, you and I are friends. You and I are buddies. I know you. You've been in this business way too long. Let's talk. Give me 5 minutes, maybe 10 tops. Just don't make any hasty decisions. If you think that this is fine, we'll start doing paperwork now, but we need to talk. Let's just talk. Let's settle this down. Maybe emotions. I get it. Your emotions are a little raw. Let's just have a conversation. you and I, let's just have a powwow. Let's try to work together with this. We, you're too valuable to us. We love you, man. We don't want you to go out like this. Not like this. Just give me 5. Give me 5 minutes. Let's talk this through. Anthony, whoa. What a moment. That was powerful moment. Even for me, I when I heard that, my ears perked. I'm like, whoa, what? Yo, Ray, no, don't do that. Man, Ray, I gotta say, man, I felt Ray and I felt sorry for him, man. But yo, that was a segment and a half. You want to talk about newsworthy? Holy crap.
MF, I just got to say this. Michael Bullock and I, we were fully invested in this segment during our Smackdown chat tonight. Yeah, we definitely had a lot to say about this during that. And first of all, gentlemen, Rey Mysterio and Triple H, 2 of the absolute greats. Future Hall of Famers, amen. So
both men first ballot in my mind. Actually, Triple H is already a Hall of Famer because of Degeneration X, but as a solo act, yeah, he definitely will be there. No doubt. And Ray, absolutely.
They haven't had much interaction in WWE, with 2 minor exceptions that I can remember off the top of my head. The 2006 Royal Rumble when they were 1 and 2. Let's not forget that. And then when Ray eliminated Triple H, and then Triple H beat up on him after that. And then, of course, when the 2 of them are on the same team at the 2007 Survivor Series, Triple H was the captain of that team. Ray was on that team along with Jeff Hardy and Kane. Matt Hardy was supposed to be on that team, but he was out with injury. And that led to that unique 4-on-5 Survivor match in 07. But nonetheless, wow, this was great. I mean, we usually don't talk about backstage stuff, but this is one of the rare times where it was definitely worth mentioning. I mean, because of who was involved. 2 living legends, future first ballot Hall of Famers, both men who have made so much history. I mean, they've both won damn near everything. The only thing Triple H never did was win Money in the Bank. Everything else, Triple H can say he won. Oh, that's right. He never won the U.S. title. That's right. He didn't win that either. But Ray did everything there is to do. He won all the belts. The only thing Ray never did was King of the Ring or Money in the Bank. But so many titles between the 2 of them. Just an awesome moment. And you were thinking Ray's quitting, and you're like, okay, what's going to happen now? So, and then once this happened, Bullock and I were thinking, okay, maybe after the commercial break, something's going to happen. Well, let's just say we found out later in the night what happened. And all I can say is I know it's something that we already know what happened. But once we tell you what it is, and MF sets it up, it's going to be something that will make MF very, very happy. That's all I'm going to say. So awesome. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, very, very rare. We talk about a backstage moment on the show, but this is one of the rare times that we most certainly have to address it. I mean, Triple H and Rey Mysterio in the same vicinity. I mean, man, we definitely were beyond invested in this segment during our chat tonight.
Yeah. I mean, first, like you said, Triple H was talking to security, and then Ray was like, he shows up and it's like, I want to talk to you, and basically, and he has said everything that he said from day one, that he would never, ever, that he's never going to fight his son, because he just can't find it in his heart. I mean, no matter what all the cruel, heartless things that Dominic has done to him, he's not going to do it. And he basically like, and Triple H said, was like, hey, I feel you, man. I mean, I know how much this really affects you. And then Ray dropped the bomb and said, look, I love this company. I love everything that it's all about, but I quit. And as soon as I saw that happen, I'm like, what? He's going to quit? I'm like, he can't do that. And as soon as the words came out, you know there were some people who were probably happy about that at the time. And you guys know who it is. I'm sure it was Dominic in the Judgment Day, because you know the Judgment Day have made Rey Mysterio's life a living hell. I mean, first, of course, getting Dom to turn on his own father. Well, mostly it was Rhea Ripley who had the full effect of it. But as soon as Ray said that he quit, Triple H is like, whoa, hold on. Maybe there's something we can do here. Let's go into my office. Let's talk for about 10 minutes, and maybe there's something we can do to work out. So they go in, and, well, you're going to find out later on what happened. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. And, yeah, Fletch, I mean, let's move on here.
All right. So the next thing that we did have, well, and then believe it or not, we actually had another backstage segment, and this one actually was a pleasant surprise, because then we get an invasion from NXT. Roxanne Perez talking to Shotzi, and basically, as you know, coming up this week on NXT, there's going to be a match where Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade are going to have pick your poison matches. Meaning, Cora Jade has to select somebody to fight Roxanne Perez, and Roxanne gets to pick Cora Jade's opponent on NXT. Well, Roxanne was talking to Shotzi. Shotzi introduced her to Raquel Rodriguez. And the next thing we know, well, the poison has been selected. Roxanne Perez has selected Raquel Rodriguez. That's right. Raquel Perez is going back to NXT to fight Cora Jade on Tuesday night. Ooh. Well, Michael Bullock, are you ready for Big Mommy Cool to be back in the old stomping grounds on Tuesday night, bro?
I'm ready for it, bro. And Raquel Rodriguez is going back home, and Roxanne Perez wants Raquel Rodriguez to face Cora Jade. And all I can say is, Cora Jade, you've run your mouth so much thinking we're in a generation of Jade. Well, you're going to be facing someone that's probably more dominant than you, that was once dominant in NXT and in Raquel Rodriguez. And you remember the old saying, Fletch, what Jerry the King Lawler once said, it's always keep your words soft and sweet, because you might have to eat those words later on. Cora Jade might have to eat those words if Big Mommy Cool has her way. And the next thing you know, Fletch, that Damage Control shows up, and Bailey has a little something to say to Roxanne Perez, and we get a match later on in the night where it's a 6-woman tag with Damage Control against Raquel Rodriguez, Shotzi, and Roxanne Perez.
Yes.
And I mean, all I can say is, Fletch, you must have been you must have been grinning like a Cheshire cat, knowing that Roxanne Perez was going to be performing on your show.
I mean,
So,
yeah, no, absolutely, man. To get Roxanne Perez, Roxy, to be on SmackDown Live, man, that's a major coup for us. I mean, hell yeah, I'll take that any day of the week.
yeah.
So,
And one more thing I want to make before I give it to you, Fletch.
sure.
I think when it comes to when you saw the interaction with Roxanne and Bailey, I got this funny feeling that I think Cora Jade is going to probably pick Bailey to face Roxanne Perez. I mean, just seeing the interaction with the two makes me believe that Cora's probably going to pick Bailey to face her.
I don't, you know what? Bailey would be one choice, but I think it could be any member of the Damage Control. I could see her pick Dakota. I could see her pick Io. But yeah, absolutely. I think Bailey would be the perfect choice. And plus, on top of that, what a coup for NXT if you get Bailey on the show. I mean, that is a major scoop if you get Bailey on NXT this Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already getting one from SmackDown Live with Raquel Rodriguez, but to get Bailey of Monday Night Raw, oh my God!
Yeah, so that's all I wanted to add. So go ahead, Fletch, if you want to finish what you got to say.
No, that's fine. So we'll move on. Unfortunately, we do got some cutouts, so that's why we're trying to talk a little more about the good stuff here. Braun Strowman goes up and basically goes 2-on-1 with a couple of guys and destroys them in a minute and 40. But if you notice, during the match, Omos and MVP were watching the match at ringside. They appeared in the crowd, and I think we might be looking at maybe an Omos versus Strowman big man fight.
This would be the ultimate Goliath versus Goliath here.
God, I hope they reinforce the ring. That's all I'm just saying.
I think they need to double reinforce that ring with these two.
Oreo knows exactly what I mean about reinforcing that ring.
I sure do, Monsoon. I sure do. Let's see where to begin. June, I believe it was in June of 2003, SmackDown, Orlando, the old arena in Orlando. Brock Lesnar and the Big Show, anyone?
Oh.
And Bullock. I don't know if I ever told you this, but when MF and I saw that, and MF saw the fans going nuts, he could not stop laughing. He was laughing so hard when those fans were going bonkers.
I don't think I was laughing because of the fans. I think I was still like in a state of shock.
We were like, what the hell just happened?
And just the moment itself was just so epic. It was like, Floyo was, I was just like, it was like one of those where I think, and I remember this. It was, I literally did the Joey Styles. Oh my God. Anthony's like, the ring just imploded. And then just the crowd going nuts. And hearing Taz basically said, what the?
Yeah, Taz said 500-pound superplex, and then MF, and then MF just starts laughing, and I'm like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, look at the fans.
He's like, what the hell are you laughing at? And I'm like, look at this. Look at this crowd. This is absolutely insane right now.
And the other thing is, guys, that's not the first time that happened. There have been a couple other times. I mean, Mark Henry and the Big Show.
Vengeance 2011.
But the thing is, okay.
And then Braun Strowman and the Big Show.
And and don't get me wrong. And let me just say this. I don't mind it when they run it back and do those type of moments, that's great. But the thing is that whenever you see something that is out of nowhere and nobody saw this coming, that's the thing that I marvel at, because it's like, oh no, it's like you could see that, like you could sense when something like that was about to happen. Like if you see something that you've never seen in your life, it's like, oh my god, that was freaking awesome. That's like when Brock Lesnar lifted the ring at SummerSlam on Roman Reigns.
Oh.
Like that is something we've never seen in our lifetime. We probably will never see that spot ever again. That's like when we saw Big Show and Lesnar in Orlando, the Smackdown Live. Floyo, you talked about it. The 500-pound superplex. It was something we never saw before. We never saw that in professional wrestling. That's why we started going crazy. So I don't know. But at the end of the day, yeah. So I just wanted to reference it more than anything else. So that's all. Next up we had was LA Knight versus Mansoor. LA Knight wins the match in 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Then he got on the mic, kind of cut it a heel promo, which was very interesting, It kind of was, I don't know what to call, I don't know what to say about it. It was just, I guess it was a kind of an interesting segment, Anthony. I guess they wanted to, I guess they're going to work him as a heel, but he was so over before he even got into the ring tonight. It was kind of weird.
MF, you and I should know this because we know this guy a lot more than Bullock does. I mean, we remember him as Eli
Drake. Yep.
In Impact Wrestling. I mean, I only wish they would have let him bring the dummy button so we could do the dummy. Yeah. I mean, that would have been freaking awesome. But
and that's who the Maxim male models are. They're nothing more than a bunch of dummies. Yeah.
How about that, huh? How you gonna follow that? You're not gonna be able to. But what I was trying to get at, MF, is what I was trying to say was, you and I know this better than anybody because of his previous work in Impact. He's that much better as a heel, and Knight is always going to excel as a heel. But it was certainly interesting to see him turn so quickly after dumping the Maximum male models. It'll benefit him in the long run, but it remains to be seen if such a quick turn after another just 2 weeks earlier was the right call or not. Obviously, we're not going to talk about the match because the match was meh, but whatevs. But he's just that much better as a heel. We know that because of his Eli Drake days. The fact and that, my friend, is a fact of life. So, Bullet, did you want to give a quick thought or?
I'll say it like this. I mean, look, let's give it some time. I mean, they just brought back the LA Knight gimmick, so let's see what happens here. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. So let's just move on, Fletch.
All right, and indeed we will move on. And the next match that we did have was Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky Damage Control going up against Raquel Rodriguez, Shotzi, and from NXT, Roxanne Perez. And it was Damage Control winning the match in 6 minutes and 50 seconds. We're gonna do a little bit of a reset here more than anything else. So it was fine for what it was worth. It was an okay matchup. There was really the ending was a little bit awkward more than anything else. So I'll give this about 2.5 stars. I thought it was fine, fun little sprint. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
This was a frantically paced match that attempted to highlight everyone involved and did so fairly well. However, there was no structure to speak of, but it did what it set out to: highlight Shotzi and Raquel Rodriguez as potential challengers to Dakota Kai and Io Sky's Women's Tag Team Championships, while presenting Roxanne Perez as a star of the future, a star of WWE's future. The young NXT star in particular showed up in her first opportunity and all involved should feel very good about her prospects moving forward. And the match also served as a nice primer for Halloween Havoc next Saturday night. The exchange of dives late in the match was a lot of fun and set the stage for Perez to battle it out with Bayley in an attempt to prove herself on this stage. I'll give it about 2.5 stars. It was a fun little sprint. And next week on SmackDown, Dakota Kai and Io Sky will defend the Women's Tag Team Championships against Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi. So I don't know how that's gonna. I think Dakota and Io are gonna successfully defend, but I'm sure Raquel and Shotzi are gonna give them some major fits. So we'll see what happens next week in Toledo, Ohio. But for right now, 2.5 for this fun little sprint. And Michael Bullock, I think it is most certainly leading to Roxanne Perez and Bayley on NXT. But if not, it could be easily Io or Dakota. But either way, I think it's going to be a member of Damage Control that Cora selects.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be most likely Bayley when it comes to this. But yeah, 2.5 stars is my rating. It was a fun little sprint, and I mean, I think it was a good first showing for Roxanne Perez on SmackDown. I mean, basically, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think she could be a big boost to your women's division, Fletch. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think the future could be looking bright for your women's division. I mean, you get Roxanne Perez, she could be a big time coup for your women's division. So, but yeah, obviously you wanted to continue giving the momentum to Damage Control and continue to show that they're a big time stable that everyone needs to take seriously. So yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. It's your Fletch.
All right, next up that we had was Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro representing Legado del Fantasma, of course, with Santos Escobar and Zelina Vega. They went up against Top Dollar and Ashanti the Adonis representing Hit Row, and it was Legado winning it in a $125. Not much to talk about on that one. So next up we had was the Fatal 4-Way, where the winner receives a title shot for the Intercontinental Championship. The participants was Sheamus, Ricochet, Solo Sikoa, and now the newest member of the SmackDown roster, Rey Mysterio. That's right. He struck a deal with Triple H and has been sent from Raw to SmackDown. Rey is now part of the Blue Brand, and lo and behold, the winner of the bout in 16 minutes and 30 seconds, and the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship is Rey Mysterio. Oh my goodness, Anthony Florio. What a turn of events. Rey was basically almost out the door. He goes to the Blue Brand and now gets a shot at Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship.
What was that time again? Did you
16:30. You heard me right.
Fight of the night. This was easily 4.25 stars. You can certainly make an argument for 4.5, but I think it was more 4.25 to be honest. This was indeed the fight of the night. Rey Mysterio appears to be in the early moments of a push, his story being one of the most prominent of the show. After a low point Monday night following the disrespect and humiliation at the hands of his own son Dominic, he recovered like greats do and earned an Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship opportunity by defeating 3 of SmackDown's best. Beyond the surefire Hall of Famer, it now appears as though the Brawling Brutes may be on a collision course with the Bloodline. That should make for some damn good television and elevate the status of the babyfaces in the process. Michael Cole pointed out on commentary that this marked the first time ever Sheamus and Rey Mysterio have squared off against each other, which is astonishing. when you consider how long they have been battling in WWE rings. And then, like MF said, Michael Cole made the announcement that Rey Mysterio has officially inked the deal with Triple H to be a member of the Friday Night SmackDown roster. An interesting development, given what appeared to be a destined showdown with Son Dominic. So it'll be interesting to see and hear what the Judgment Day is going to think of all this come Monday night on Raw, should they decide to follow up on that. But we'll see Monday night. But for right now, fight of the night, 4.25 stars, fantastic match, surprise outcome. I mean, we all thought it was going to be Sheamus, and I know there's a lot of people that wanted it to be Sheamus, but at the same time, I mean, it's always nice to shake things up, and Rey Mysterio gets the golden opportunity, and this is going to be a vintage Rey Mysterio match. What has he always been known for? His big-time performances in big man, little man matches. We've seen him do it for so many years, whether it was The Big Show or Brock Lesnar or some of these other big guys, all these other giants, dating back to WCW in 1999 when he had that small little push when he was beating guys like Kevin Nash and Bam Bam Bigelow, for goodness sakes. I mean, wow, what a story this would be if Rey Mysterio were to be the one to dethrone Gunther for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship and give him one last title run in WWE. So, wow. So, not much more to say here. 4.25 stars, fight of the night. Michael Bullock, I mean, wow. What a payoff. We weren't sure what to expect because we never got a follow-up. We never got an immediate follow-up. But then when Samantha Irvin, the ring announcer, announced that Karrion Kross was going to be unable to compete, we were like, okay, who's going to be the fourth guy? And then when Ray won, when Ray came out, did I or did I not say that I had Ray winning this match?
You said it. You said it when as soon as Ray came out, because originally, I mean, if this didn't happen, I was going to say Sheamus was going to win that. But as soon as Ray came out as the replacement, you said that that Rey Mysterio was going to win it, and boy howdy, I mean, he did. And the other big thing, like you said, Fletch, he's now a part of Friday Night SmackDown, so it's going to be very interesting to hear what the Judgment Day and especially Dominic will have to say about all this come Monday night on Raw. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say except 4.25 stars, fight of the night. A big win for Rey Mysterio, and now he's got to deal with Gunther to take that Intercontinental Championship from him. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, Ray's now a part of the Blue brand, and I know you're smiling big time, but now the question is, what does the Judgment Day, and especially his son, Dominic, what are they going to have to say about all this?
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see, because now, like you said, it changes the balance of power. It changes everything because you never know what we're going to get. So we're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. This is incredible. Big moment for SmackDown to get Rey Mysterio. It's been a long time since Rey been on SmackDown, but, I'm excited. It's going to be great to see him on SmackDown now and be on a more permanent basis. So we'll wait and see how it goes. This was a great end, but then we got Bray Wyatt at the end of the show. Bray Wyatt cuts a promo. Michael Bullock, yes, it was a little bit of, the theatrical and everything else, but there was a moment where Bray was himself. He let himself be vulnerable, and I thought he shot from the heart. And you want to talk about incredible moments. New Orleans and the Smoothie King Arena gave us quite a backdrop here tonight.
Oh, yeah, they certainly did. I mean, during this whole thing, Bray was basically himself. Talking about everything in his personal life, and of course, some of the people he lost, including those that were very close to him. And of course, we all know about one of them, and that was Luke Harper. Yeah, that was one of them, and he thought that he would never be in WWE again, but here he is, and he thanks everyone, and then you get the weird video at the end, and that's how it all ends. So yeah, you talk about a strange ending to SmackDown. I mean, Fletch, what do you make of all this?
I love when a segment goes where you get the guy gets to be vulnerable and show a little heart on the sleeve. That makes great moments amazing. And to see the fireflies light up, to see that ring, how it was illuminated in the ring. You had the little spotlight and everything else. And yeah, you get the creepiness after, but it was just a man in the ring in front of a capacity crowd that's been wanting to see him for a couple of years now. And now the metamorphosis of Bray Wyatt and whatever the Wyatt six that it becomes down the line, at least now we get the first thing. He got to be himself. He got to be genuine. He got to break a little bit of the mold a little bit. And they gave us such a moment that it was amazing. It was powerful. The scene was amazing. I loved this segment as a closing segment. Not many times we've had a SmackDown that has closed this powerful, and they absolutely nailed it. I mean, yes, the in-ring wasn't great tonight, but the segments itself, the outside of stuff was so newsworthy that tonight's show was a little bit of a reversal where the segments carried the night. It carried the show to be a damn good SmackDown. Anthony, your thoughts?
Segment of the night. I mean, I don't know who he said he lost two people very close to him. We know who one of them was. That obviously was Mr. Brody Lee, Luke Harper. Not sure who the other one was. But that's a mystery. But hey, what can I say? I mean, this was a different Bray Wyatt than we have seen before. One that was open and honest before giving way to the enigmatic theatricality that we expect from him. This did nothing to tell us what this new incarnation of the former world champion is all about, but it did intensify the interest in him. Some of the things he said, I'm incredibly grateful and very nervous because I never thought this would happen. This is just me being me, genuine me for the first time. I lost my career. I lost my confidence. I lost two people who were very, very close to me. I lost my way. And then he closed by, and then he told and then from there, he also said to the audience, straight up, you saved my life. And wow, that's powerful stuff, man. I mean, as a man of good faith, this is stuff that I love, hearing, redemption stories and the whole nine. And man, but then, we got the theatrics at the end, this Max Headroom like figure on the Tron there. And I don't know. I mean, when are we going to find out the identities of the Wyatt Six? I don't know. We're going to have to see what happens with that. But if he's on SmackDown, I mean, that's another big coup for MF to get Bray Wyatt on Team Blue there. So, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens down the road. But this was a very powerful start to it. And Not much more to say here. So, did Bullock go or Bullock? Did Bullock give his thought yet, or did we move on? Oh, he led off. Okay. Little sidetracked. I got a little sidetracked. So. Yeah. All right. So, with that, MF, let's get into our overall review.
Yeah, this was like I said, a quality show because tonight the segments carried the night. This was totally different from anything that we have done in the past, where normally when you get segment heavy shows, you're thinking, I don't know, this might not be a good idea. But every segment on this show tonight was actually effective in so many different ways because it layers NXT, it layered the future for SmackDown Live, it layered a lot of different continuous storylines here and there. For me, they nailed it. This was an excellent show. I gotta give this an excess of 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10. I thought they did a damn good job with the SmackDown. Yes, the matches weren't great. You had a very good match at the beginning with Kofi versus Sammy, and the main event, the Fatal 4-Way, was an incredible match. In the middle, you lost its way, but the segments themselves actually was so enjoyable and so beautifully done that it actually made the show even better than what it was supposed to be. So this was an enjoyable 2 hours for me. So 7.5 to 8. Anthony, it's yours.
One of the better SmackDowns we've had in a while. And it was a very newsworthy show, like I said, with all those surprises there, with Rey Mysterio being the biggest one. And then, of course, you had Roxy on there. You had Omos showing up and everything else. And, yeah, the 7.5 to 8, I'm right there with you, MF. Great way to a lot of great stuff on here. I mean, the opening match, Kofi and Sammy, as well as that Intercontinental Contender 4-Way. Those were the two big fights in the night. Throwing a solid, fun little sprint of a 6-woman tag match, and then the Bray stuff at the end, and all that stuff with Ray. Very well done. 7.5 to 8 for me. Bullock, let's get into your thoughts, and then your overall review, and then we'll get into Rampage.
Yeah, I'll give it about 7.5 to 8 as well. I mean, this was definitely a really good edition of Friday Night SmackDown with basically the segments. And newsworthy stuff that really dominated. And yeah, a couple of good matches, a fine little sprint, but overall, I mean, I thought it was a good show. So 7.5 to 8. So let's quickly get into Rampage, Fletch.
All right, we started off with Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley versus Butcher and the Blade. Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley of the Blackpool Combat Club wins the match in 9 minutes and 19 seconds. Solid opener, good matchup. About 3.25 stars. I thought the match could have been a little more better, but I enjoyed it. Really nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 3 to 3.25. Fun little match, but there was nothing too memorable about it. Post-match promo was short and sweet. And it's wild that AEW would forgo a Jon Moxley entrance. His music alone gets a massive pop every time. The Wild Thing, a la Major League, Ricky Vaughn, you know that story. AEW has never been big on using instant replay all the time, but it's much easier to do with a pre-taped show. The announcers can just call for it and know it will be edited into the show later. As great as Butcher and Blade are as a duo, it would be awesome to see the Butcher in a tag team with Brody King. Who could stop them? And the way Claudio saved Jon Moxley from a double team move by just picking him up out of their arms was amazing. And that's all I can say. 3 to 3.25 stars, fun little match. And Michael Bullock, how about seeing the former Dean Ambrose and Cesaro teaming together for the first time? What a sight that was to see.
Yeah, it definitely was a fun sight here to see. I mean, I'll give this about 3.25 as well. I mean, a fun match here. I mean, a good way to start it off. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. Let's move on.
All right. So with that said, then um, do you guys want to talk about the promo segment between Daniel Garcia and Chris Jericho and all that stuff? Do you guys want to go into that, or do you just want to go into the next match?
Well, it was interesting. That's all I can say on that. Daniel Garcia, with the explanation, but he may be aligned with Jericho, but I don't know why. But for some odd reason, in the immortal words of Jesse the Body MF with the whole Mega Powers thing, I smell a rat. I still smell a rat. I think there's more to this than meets the eye.
I believe so too. I believe so too. But I will say this though.
I'll triple that.
But I will say this. Boy, did we get a surprise during this segment because we had one of the top guys of Ring of Honor showing up.
And someone you know very well.
Dalton Castle, former Ring of Honor world champion himself, Dalton Castle. And I don't believe he had the boys, which I'm a little disappointed about because, well, Dalton Castle challenged Chris Jericho. And the match is going to happen at Tuesday Night Dynamite. Yeah, you heard me right. Tuesday Night Dynamite. And it's going to be for the Ring of Honor world title. So we got that Tuesday night. Next up we had was Anna J.A.S. versus Nyla Rose and the Native Beast. Nyla Rose wins the match in 5 minutes and 29 seconds. All right, fine for what it was worth. I'm not going to let the guys waste their time on this one. There was a little bit of a post-fight thing with Jade Cargill, Leela Gray, and Kiera Hogan as they were trying to get the AEW, the TNT, the TBS title back, but the women were able to get away from it. Then we had Ethan Page versus Isaiah Cassidy. Ethan Page wins the match in 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And this was actually significant because of the victory, now Private Party and Matt Hardy, their contracts are now in the possession of the firm. That's going to be very interesting to watch. Main event of the evening was Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, and Toya Loa. They went up against Shawn Spears, Dax Wheeler, and Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood of FTR. FTR and Shawn Spears wins the match in 11 minutes and 18 seconds. But Anthony, before you go, we had ourselves some interruptions. And boy, do you know these three. Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Maria Canales Bennett.
Oh.
All hail the kingdom. They just invaded AEW. But it's not because of AEW they're there. They're after the Ring of Honor World Tag Team belts.
Yeah, I did hear some rumblings about some members of Honor No More flying the coop there in Impact Wrestling. But MF, you actually know these guys a little more than I do. I mean, because you know their days in Ring of Honor when they were the original Kingdom.
Yes.
In Ring of Honor. And I'll let you drop that JR 96, 97 knowledge on them in a moment. But I know but I damn sure know who Maria is. I mean, WWE, when she was the ditzy blonde there, and MF and I will never forget the fun that she and John Cena had, those funny little interview segments that they had, all the fun we used to have with that back in the day. But no. But all kidding aside, this bout followed the match. When it comes to the match, this bout followed the usual pattern of AEW trios matches. The bad guys had control more often than the good, but the good guys made up for it with hot tags and exciting sequences. The nice thing to see was how tags were being observed a lot more than usual. it didn't feel like we had as many moments with all 6 competitors involved as we usually would. So it felt competitive, but not overbooked. Sean Spears, who's obviously bringing, they're now booking him as the Ty Dillinger version of his character. He's the perfect 10 again. What about that? He hit the C4 on Khan to score the win for his team. And then Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Maria came out at the end of the show to challenge FTR. They joined the embassy to beat down the babyfaces until War Joe made the save. Prince Nana is one of those characters that just doesn't feel quite right for AEW, but he feels perfect for Ring of Honor. Hard to explain why. Brian Cage moves in ways a guy with his physique should not be able to move, and using a sharpshooter in Canada is a cheat code to get a pop. But I'll give this 3.5 stars. Call it the fight of the night. But yes, Bullock, in case Bullock obviously knows who Maria is because of her time in WWE, obviously. And of course, Mike Bennett was also briefly in WWE when he was when they came out to that catchy little entrance theme song. And then they went to Impact Wrestling and for a run. But now they're back. Now they're in AEW now. And very interesting. I mean, I looked at it and I remember I read some rumblings recently, and they're officially done as of last week. 4 of the members of Honor No More, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Maria Kanellis, and Vincent, are officially done. Their contracts expired, and they're now free agents. And that was it. So I think that's why they showed up. That's why you saw them. So yes, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, former Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champions, as part of Honor No More. And the 3 of them, along with Vincent, PCO, and Kenny King, and of course the ringleader Eddie Edwards. And yes, I know who these guys are very well. Honor No More, all the hell they raised in Impact Wrestling, and it's going to be interesting to see how that group moves forward without them. So, well, that's definitely something I'm going to be keeping an eye on with Impact Wrestling going forward, and my Tony's takes on that. But I know MF will drop the knowledge on it in just a little bit because he knows these guys just a smidgen better because of the original Kingdom that included another young man who we know very well, Bebe, if you know what I mean. So MF could tell you that story in a moment. But 3.5 stars, fight of the night. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, fight of the night to close it out with this trios match. But business definitely picking up with Maria alongside her husband, Mike Bennett, and Matt Taven, formerly the Kingdom of Honor No More.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely give this 3.5 stars, and the fight of the night, yeah, I mean, this definitely got interesting with these two showing up, with these guys showing up in AEW, and yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with this. I mean, now that they are, I think it looks like they're going to be part of AEW, so we'll wait and see how it all goes. So there's really nothing more to say, so let's get to our overall thoughts. Fletch, are you there?
MF?
Forgot to unmute my mic. I apologize. I was going to say, Adam Cole and Matt Taven, both former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champions. Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions was Bennett and Taven. They were former 6-man Tag Team Champions, but that was when Taven, Orion, and Tony Masagna. So yeah, and then like I said, and Taven and Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, former IWGP World Tag Team Champions. So, yeah, these guys are major players. When they started the Kingdom, the original Kingdom, that was when the original members of the Kingdom, that was when it was at the time you had was Adam Cole with actually they started it out where it was Adam Cole, Matt Taven. Yeah, it was Adam Cole, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett. Those were the original three with Maria. And then Matt Hardy joined the group a little bit. That was one of the team. TK Orion, Vinny Masagna. Those were later on. So Vinny kind of joined in a little bit later on with the team. PCO joined in a little bit later on with the team because that was the kind of the newer version of the Kingdom. But the original OC was Adam Cole, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett with Maria. That was the original Kingdom. When they started it, oh my goodness, they were a terror when they were around. So, yeah, nothing more to say. Overall review, I thought it was an all right show. I'm not going to say it was anything amazing. I thought it was all right. I think this was about maybe 6.5. Think it could have been a little more better. Anthony, your thoughts quickly?
Yeah, 6.5. Bookend opening match was good. Main event was good. The other matches not so much. But there was some newsworthiness there with the appearances of Dalton Castle calling out Jericho, and then of course the bigger surprise with Maria, Mike Bennett, and Matt Taven showing up. So yeah, business picking up in AEW. So 6.5. Michael Bullock, quick thought from you, and then MF will get into his Big Mikey's mindset about TripleMania.
Yeah, 6.5 for me. I mean, you guys pretty much said everything, so Fletch, it's yours.
All right, guys, and now we do indeed move on to TripleMania, Mexico City. That is tomorrow night. It will be held from now hold on. Let me try to get the location for it. It's at the Arenas Ciudad de Mexico, otherwise known as, and I believe they do mention this. This is actually known as the XDEC Arena in Mexico City, Mexico. They are expecting over 20,000 in attendance tomorrow night. This is it. This is the biggest event of the year. This is the one that's gonna, this could break the mold here, guys. It's gonna be an incredible event. We have 6 matches on the fight card. Well, actually, we got more than 6. We got 8 matches total. 2 of them are a pre-show fight, so we're not gonna get into the pre-show. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches to go for the big card. So here it is. First off, a fatal 4-way to determine the future number 1 contenders, and the winners gets a tag team title shot down the line, as it will be Los Hermanos Lee, Dragsicino, and Dragon Lee. They go up against Arias and Willie Mack, Mate Diaz and Comar, and Los Vipers, Toxin and Laongo. That's in one match. Then we have the trios tag team titles on the line. The World Trios tag team titles, as this will be in a triple threat match. The reigning champions, La Nueva Generación de Mentira, El Corazón, Sonan, and Florencio goes up against Psycho Clown, goes up against Psycho Clown, Laredo Kid, and Bandito. And the third part of the team, Sam Adonis, John Morrison, and Brian Cage. You heard me right. John Morrison, Johnny Caballero, they call him in this one. He was also known as Johnny Mundo, whatever you want to call him, Johnny Elite. He's going to be fighting in this match for the World's Trios title. Then we have ourselves one of the most highly anticipated Reina de Reinas championship matches we've had in a long time. Taya puts the title on the line against the NWA Women's Champion, Camille, one-on-one. We talked about it on Monday night. We talked about it on Wednesday night. And oh my God, Anthony, Camille versus Taya. You know both ladies really well. What do you expect with this matchup? This could be an epic match.
Well, to be honest with you, MF, I know a little more about Taya Valkyrie than I do about Camille. Because I don't really follow NWA. I know you do. And you've done many of Mikey's mindsets on that in the past. But I was just curious to see what she looked like. You showed me her, and I was blown away by her because he is a stunner, I'll tell you. But
go out of your way and get the TripleMania on Fight TV tomorrow, and you'll get to see a lot of her.
Yeah, indeed. But I'll tell you, interesting matchup. I don't know why my gut's telling me Taya retains, but if Camille were to win the title, I wouldn't be surprised, because she is a great athlete, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with this very highly anticipated Reina de Reinas championship matchup. So it's definitely a highlight, and like I said, my guts. I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to say Taya retains, but MF, don't be surprised if Camille steals it.
All right. Then we have a hair versus hair match, as it's Pagano going one-on-one with Cibernetico. That will be one. Then, co-main event, the AAA Mega Copion on the line. The champion, El Hijo de Banquino, goes one-on-one with AEW's Rey Fenix. One-on-one, title on the line. And in the main event of TripleMania, Le Rudo de la Muertes finals, this is the bracket. This was the match, the tournament that basically had 8 men put their masks on the line, and the loser of this tournament loses their masks. It was the 8 men that were involved in it was Ultimo Dragon, Pentagon Jr., El Rey de Rescudos Jr., Blue Demon Jr., LA Park, El Levino 4, Centric, and Psycho Clown. Well, we're in the final, and that matchup is Blue Demon Jr. versus Psycho Clown. The loser of this match loses his mask. I don't think you really need for me to tell you the magnitude of it. In Mexico, when you lose your mask, you lose your identity. Somebody's legacy literally gets changed forever. And not only does it change their legacy, it changes the family's legacy. Because this is the ultimate. It's like one of the biggest embarrassing moments of your life. It's the saddest moment of your life because of the mask being so influential, and it comes from generation to generation to generation to generation. To lose your mask, it's going to be, without a doubt, one of the biggest moments in wrestling history. And for Blue Demon Jr. and for Blue Demon Jr. and for Psycho Clown, this is going to be, without a doubt, the biggest moment of their lives. I mean, you want to talk about changing of the guard. Oh my goodness, what this match is going to mean. So here we go. Tomorrow night from Mexico City, it will be TripleMania 30. It will be exclusively on Fight TV. You can get the pay-per-view right now. Go to Fight TV, and that's how you'll be able to get this event. It will be held tomorrow night. I'm trying to see if I can get the official website for it, but it will be held tomorrow night from Mexico City, and it will be exclusively on Fight TV. All right, guys, so that's it. We're done. We're out of here. Tomorrow night, we got another edition of NFL Saturday, as we will be now in week number 6 of the National Football League. Bye weeks are going to start. Anthony will get into the buys. And we also have some matches, some very crucial matches, and 2 games that are must watch. You got to go out and watch these games on Sunday. We got a monster matchup at 4:25 and an even bigger matchup at 8 o'clock Sunday Night Football. You want to talk about 5-star classic possibilities? We got it. We'll talk about it. We will go in depth with those 2 games more than any other games. Those 2 will get main event attention. We'll say it like that. So, with that said, 10:30 tomorrow night, Tone 25. For Anthony Foyle, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. So long for now.
Goodbye.